Hey guys, be twice here. Today is Saturday, July 24th. I want to take a look at a couple of our recent winners. I probably can't capture them all. I can't remember all of them, but um, the most recent ones I've had, Etsy, Boeing, Autodesk, and Square. I want to go over what we're seeing in them and what we could potentially see coming very soon. Most of these I try, if I'm in options, I try to take my initial investment off the table as soon as I possibly can, just so I have a free position. So be mindful of that. I try to have multiple contracts, so as soon as I get 100% gain, I can remove half of my positions. That way I'm playing the rest of them for free. And then I just try to find different spots that I want to get out, maybe let some runners go for a while. And a lot of times those runners end up just losing. So you got to be mindful of that. What goes up must come down. So let's start with Etsy. Obviously, we were in for this rally all the way back here and we rode it up to 200. And I started phasing out of my position on this wave three. Ultimately, we went up for the 206. Now, this is where I'm talking about some of my runners got nuked. I held some runners in case it was going to continue ripping. Well, no, it didn't. It hit the algo sell target of like 206 and it died. So my runners just died on this whole drop down here. So then I started buying the dip on this move down to A. I was obviously getting in a little prematurely, but I was buying September contracts. And then ultimately on the wave down, we had an A, B, C, entered more position down here, and now it's starting to pay off. So what have we seen? We rallied up for a wave one, we pulled back for a two, and then we remade our entry on this wave two. And what have we seen so far? A one, a two, and we're rallying up for a three. So right here, we were in this minute wave three, a three, which isn't even going to be the biggest move that we should see out of this name, unless they have really bad earnings. We should be getting into a higher degree wave 303, and we could see a massive move out of Etsy taking us to the mid 200 range. So what do I see so far is that we're up here over at this three, somewhere around here. We're overbought, so we're going to see a little bit of a downturn. I think we'll get pumped up one more time if we haven't already peaked for this wave five, which is a wave one. We should see a little bit more upside, maybe not even a little over 210, who knows. But from there, we should see a three swing to the downside. That's a very buyable dip. So we're going to watch this because I've been scaling out of my position. And when we have this downtrend, I'm going to get back in. I want to see three waves to the downside, and I'm hoping it takes us back down to 200 a share or a little bit less. That would be amazing if we could get there, because from there we'll be in a true wave three of three. We'll be able to get a good price target, and we'll be able to ride this puppy up. All right, let's look at Boeing. Boeing, same thing. I called to buy this dip as we were going down near this uptrend line because I was saying it was not going to go below it. Ultimately, that dip ended up being Monday when it was a buyable dip on everything. And by Tuesday, I was able to trim half my position because I had 100% gains on everything I bought on Monday. So Boeing rallied up to 220 a share. I took my initial investment off the table. I'm holding the rest of it. Well, why am I holding the rest of it? Well, kind of for an earnings gamble. It was a free position. I think Boeing deserves to be at a way higher. It should be trading at 240, 250 right now. I mean, I think it's worth significantly more than 220. But from Elliott wave perspective, what are we seeing? Well, we're seeing a topping pattern up here. We're looking for our wave one if we haven't already found the top. So we had a one, two, a three, a four. This could have been our five already here. I do think we might go a little bit higher than that, and then sell off if we don't sell off early in the week. If we sell off early next week, then I'm thinking we'll be going down for our two right now. We'll do right around a 61.8% retracement, so it may take us down to 215. It may be shallow. It might only go to 217. There's been a lot of dark pool activity on Boeing, which is why I was so high on it when it was falling. Just because when you have a lot of dark pool buys, generally there's a big move coming. So I am high on Boeing. I think a big move's coming. The question is it going to be around earnings time? And I think it is. So hopefully we do see this pullback before earnings. I know earnings is early this week. It's on the 28th, so maybe even on Monday. What day is the 28th? Okay, so on Wednesday. So maybe even on Monday, Tuesday, we'll get a flush. And then that'll be a very viable dip for a wave two. Ultimately, we're going to be riding our wave three up to about 248 a share. We'll pull back to 235, and then we'll be heading up to 256. So this is how I do my price targets. On my Elliott wave counts. The 161.8% extension is your wave 3 price target. Your 100% extension ends up being the 38.2% retracement. It's the same thing. So that's your wave 4 price target. And then the 200% extension is your wave 5 price target. So you can literally just set it up so that all of those defaultly come out and then you can draw your line. So I don't always just eyeball my lines. Sometimes I do in the minute wave. And the reason I do that is because minute waves are much harder to actually guesstimate where your wave 3s are going to be. But when you're at a higher degree wave, these sell targets and buy targets tend to stand more because there's more people watching them. So there's more people, there's more computers programmed to buy and sell at those levels. There's more buyers, there's more sellers because it's a higher degree. Most people aren't looking at the minute or the 5 minute and figuring out when to buy and sell. They're not doing that. They're looking at the hourly charts and stuff like that. So it's much easier to get these price targets. So that's a little bit of a nutshell of how you get these different targets with wave theory. All right, let's look at Autodesk. Autodesk was like the silent sleeper that I had pumped weeks ago, and then it was just coiling and coiling and coiling. Finally, we got our breakout this week, so I finally got paid off this one. But what we're seeing is that we had a 5-wave move up for a 1. We had an ABC move down for a 2. Then we popped it for a 1 that we were still in this downtrend, pulled back for a 2, held the uptrend line, and then ultimately we rallied, broke the downtrend line. So I got in, I think, right as we were breaking the downtrend line. Ultimately, we were hitting this heavy resistance for a while and kind of just coiling, coiling, coiling. And finally, this week, we broke out to the upside for a wave 3. So we had a 1, we had a 2, we had a 3. From here, we should see a little bit of a pullback. We should go up to my wave 3 price target of 320 very soon. Probably the next couple weeks, we'll see 320. From there, we'll be seeing a pullback. But we'll have to wait to see if it actually tops at 320 or where it tops to get our wave 4 price target, and then we can see if it's a good entry on this one. The problem with Autodesk is the options have massive bid-ask spread. So if you're looking to buy time and put together a spread, it's hard to get a fill, which for me, I don't like that much just because of the fact that I was looking at September or later contracts on this because I didn't know when the move was coming. And I wasn't looking to buy straight up contracts in case I was wrong because I knew that I could just get blown out if the market dropped. Usually, if I try to buy significant time on contracts, I like to buy spreads more so than just straight up calls just because you can lose money way faster on calls than you can on spreads. Okay, guys, so Square was another big winner this week. I'm long shares, so I will hold those forever. I won't be selling or scalping those, but I do scalp options. I closed most of my position this week on this run up, and why'd I do that? Because I think we're coming up for a higher degree wave 1. So we see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a 1. We pulled back for a 2. We had an ABC move down for a 2. We bottomed at the C, which was the 100% extension, and now we're in a 5-wave impulse to the upside. I took away the numbering of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's too hard to see it, but basically we could go a little bit higher, but we're really close. Unless there's massive call buying on Square that continues. We've gone up way too fast. We became overbought and we started selling on Friday. With that being said, I think we're going to see our wave 1 top right around here if we haven't already seen it. From there, we're going to see a pullback. That's going to be a very viable dip. So I'm still holding my position in case this thing does the impossible and keeps ripping and ripping and ripping. I want to be able to grab that, but I do ultimately think we're going to see a 3-wave to the downside and we'll be able to buy back in, and then we'll be in a red wave 3 of this yellow wave 3, and it's going to be an ultimate ripper. I think it's going to take us into the 300. So hopefully it does. But I think earnings that we see in August is going to have to send this one. It's going to be make or break, just like with a lot of things. I think it's because of the fact that Square is still a relatively newish company and people are still trying to figure out like, hey, what their earnings are going to do. But I think they're going to be extremely profitable. They charge an arm and a leg for Bitcoin transactions because I have Cash App, and if you want to sell Bitcoin, I think the fees are like $1.60 or something every transaction you want to do. So it's outrageous. So I expect them to print a ton of money. They're going to be up. I think their earnings are going to blow it out of the water, and they should fly. With that being said, my son is behind me crying, so I got to run, guys. If you like these videos, go ahead and hit a like and subscribe.